Welcome to Sealand the News Brief. This week is 24th week. And well, as usual, we want to take a look at our interest rate first. Well, this week, I think it's the highest interest rate ever. We will take a look at that news brief, but 30-year fixed is 5.875 and fixed year 5.125. Now we are very close to a 6 point. And the 10-year treasury yield, it's went over 3 point. So 3.383. I will explain that later as well. And also this week, usually I believe 5-year ARM is lower than a 30-year fixed rate. Okay, but this week some happened. The 5-year ARM, the interest rate is 6.15, and 7-year ARM also same thing. Later we can see this is somewhat something to do with also the 10-year treasury yield and 2-year treasury yield is reversed. Okay, we will explain it later. Okay, so let's start the news brief this week. Manhattan median rent is over $4,000, first time ever. The median rent is over $4,000, and that is up 1.9% from the last month and 25% from last year. And average rent is $4,975. Obviously, you know, is different. The median rent and the average rent is different. And the average rent up 3.2% from last month and 22% up from a year ago, according to Douglas Elliman. Douglas Elliman is one of the major brokerage companies in New York, especially Manhattan. And the rent for studio and one bedroom shows a strong increase. And median rent for a studio is $2,975. Now, if you want to get the studio in Manhattan, I think you have to spend about $3,000 plus minus. And that is up 26.3% from a year ago. And the median rent for one bedroom is $3,999, and it's up 25% from last year. So Manhattan rent is going up, not anymore kind of under the pandemic influence anymore. And median rent in Brooklyn is $3,250 and is up 18.2%. And a lot of Korean population in this area, northwest Queens. The median rent is $2,950, and it's 19.6% up from last year. And while rent is soaring, the inventory becomes less and less. While number of new leases in May last year was 9,500, but this year, May, it became 4,934 leases, which is about a half. So obviously less transactions. The rent listing inventory is only 5,776, down 70% from last year. And vacancy rate becomes 1.8% this year, May, from 7.5% last year. So 1.8% vacancy rate means there's no vacancy at all. Okay, it's fully occupied. We can say that because you are not going to notice a 1.8% vacancy rate at all. That means very, very strong demand. And I'm wondering where are those apartments gone? Well, with these statistics, it looks like the apartments and those rental property is kind of gone, and they didn't explain. Okay, but anyway, we don't know everything about the market, but this is the situation. 그 맨하탄의 렌트가 지금 4,000불, 미디언 렌트가 4,000불을 넘어간다는 뉴스가 지금 나와 있는데 몇 군데 뉴스가 나와 있고요. 특별히 렌트하고 원베드룸이 굉장히 디맨드가 지금 높다. 그래서 1년 전 대비 스튜디오 같은 경우에는 26%가 올라갔고요. 이제 3,000불대고 미디언이, 그리고 원베드룸 미디언 프라이스는 한 4,000불, 3,999불. 그래서 작년 대비 25%가 올라갔다. 브루클린, 그다음에 노스 웨스트, 퀸즈 지역도 다 지금 올라간 상태인데, 그 number of transaction은 한 반 정도밖에 안 된다. 이 통계가 지금 어떻게 나온 건지는 그 방법 자체는 클리어하지 않지만, 이 통계를 보면서 조금 원더링 하는 게 있는데, 그러면 이 스페이스들이 다 어디로 간 건지, 어떻게 렌트가 이렇게 올라가고 있는지. 얼마 전에만 해도 우리가 팬데믹 때문에 맨하탄 렌트 막 남아돈다라고 하는 얘기들을 좀 했는데, 이제는 다시 렌트가 치솟아 올라가고 있다. 그런 뉴스가 들어와 있고요. The next news is again a Manhattan local news. Nubiani, a restaurant opened in K-Town in Manhattan. Nubiani is a Korean word. I was not know for sure. Nubiani? 누비아니는 이렇게 고기를 얇게 이렇게 잘라서 점여가지고 이렇게 바베큐를 하는 그런 거라고 그래요. 아무튼 it's English spelling Nubiani, and it's a modern Korean BBQ restaurant. Nubiani opens today. In fact, May 15th. I'm sorry, June 15th by KTM Consulting Group. The CEO is Mr. Moon Junho. And the former store at 15 West 32nd Street was 3층 포차, third floor cafe, which was famous for Korean foreign students and New Yorkers. And this company renovated the place for more than a year. And this restaurant is boast of the spectacular view of Empire State Building and the chef table style, meaning a chef is going to make you a meal while you're watching, kind of arrangement. I don't know exactly, but they have about 30 employees in this restaurant and 4 professional chefs and 10 supporting staffs as well. 그 누비안이라고 하는 레스토랑이 지금 32가에 오늘 열었다고 하는데, 모던 스타일의 코리안 바베큐 식당이다. 그 지금 대표는 이 그룹 이름이 KTM 컨설팅 그룹이라고 그러고 대표는 문준호 씨다. 그렇게 되어 있는데, 그게 15 West 32nd Street에 있었던 3층 포차 자리에 1년 정도 레노베이션을 해가지고 지금 열었다. 근데 그 자리에 앉으면 아마 엠파이어 스테이트 빌딩이 잘 이렇게 보이는 그런 자리에 잡은 것 같고요. 그리고 이제 특징은 셰프 테이블 스타일이다. 셰프가 그 쿠킹 직접 해주는, 그래서 그걸 가지고 직접 서빙하는 그런 스타일의 서빙을 하고 있다. 그래서 프로페셔널 셰프가 4명이고 그다음에 서포팅 스텝 10명을 합쳐서 전체 한 30명 정도가 레스토랑에서 일하고 있다. 그런 간단한 뉴스가 오늘 들어왔고요. Next news is 5 Bergen towns stayed hot even as the real estate market slowed. Today's record, the newspaper record reported, and New Jersey's housing market is showing signs of stabilizing. Remember last week's news report? After 2 frenzied years, thanks to rising mortgage rate. Yes, because high mortgage rate calms down the real estate market in New Jersey, but some location, due to maybe a location or luxury offerings or access to New York and other factors, some towns remained in demand last month, which is May, even as the market normalized following the Fed's biggest interest rate hike in 22 years. According to a Compass Real Estate Bridgewood, they compiled the data from MLS statistics. 5 towns, Fairlawn, Hackensack, Mahwah, Paramus, and Tenafly, kept the price jumping. Okay, first to Fairlawn. Fairlawn is known as easy way access and shopping, and is centrally located in the county and convenient to downtowns such as Ridgewood and Grand Rock. And the median price in May was, in the town, median price was $599,000. And it's up 14% from the same month a year ago. So still home price moving up in May. What about Hackensack? Well, Hackensack is Bergen County's capital, has shown a building boom of condos, co-ops, and apartments in recent years, and has become a desirable location for both in relative affordability. That means prices lower than other towns, and its cultural diversities. And the median price is $392,000, and still that is up 33% from a year ago. What about Mahwah? Mahwah is the county's largest municipality, has rural feel, and is known for its parks and green spaces, such as a Ramapo Reservation, whose hiking trails beacon those seeking an outdoorsy lifestyle. And the median price is $627,000, rising 39% from a year ago. So it's lower than Tenafly and Ridgewood, I believe, but still it's about 40% increase from last year. And Paramus is centrally located, as we know, and a shopping mecca. And Saturday, there's a lot of traffic coming from neighbor state, right? New Jersey, Connecticut, etc. And with 4 large malls and retail stores, along with Route 17 and Route 4. And it's one of the strong merits of the town is the tax rate is low, 1.65%. And it's one of the lowest in the county. The median price is, in May, $985,000. And that's up 35%. And Tenafly draws of its proximity to the George Washington Bridge and highly rated public schools. And the May median price is $1.1 million. It's up 28% from last year. So the Record newspaper reported this 5 Bergen towns, still price is going up, even as the other real estate market in New Jersey slowed down. 그 5개 타운은 여전히 지금 다른 뉴저지는 상당히 마켓이 스테빌라이징 된다고 전번 주에 한번 뉴스 한번 나온 적이 있죠. 같은 레코드지에. 근데 이번 주에 5개 타운을 보니까 그거는 지금 보니까 컴퍼스 리얼 에스테이트에서 컴파일을 한 것 같아요. 자료를 모은 것 같은데 MLS 데이터 보고서 그래서 이 타운들은 페어론, 해켄색, 마와, 파라무스, 그 다음에 테너플라이는 가격이 여전히 고공행진을 하고 있다. 그런 뉴스가 들어와 있습니다. Okay, next news is single home new construction slows down. Well, I guess it's obvious that due to mortgage interest rate hike and the material cost, new construction shows 1.1 starts in April down 7.3% annually. Department of Commerce report. Well, construction material cost rose 19% from a year ago due to the supply chain disruption. Kind of we guessed, but it's close to 20% increase. Overall, new construction rose 15% in April from a year earlier because of increased construction of multifamily buildings, such as apartment and condo, which shows the fastest increase in 40 years. Probably you see a lot of sort of mid-rise or high-rise buildings, apartment buildings, okay? Because of those condos and apartment buildings, new construction, overall residential new construction rose 15% in April from a year ago. So generally we're doing good, but single home construction slows down. And Lawrence Yun, chief economist of NAR, said that builders are expecting more increase of rent due to high mortgage rate and low inventory of existing houses. So because of mortgage, they cannot buy house. Because of low inventory, they cannot buy house, so that they have to move to rental complex, rental houses. So that's why rent will be increased. And builders are looking into that. That's why a lot of condo buildings, apartment buildings, and co-ops, especially rental apartment, is going to be strong next few years, I believe. And again, is for the investor point of view, yes, investing in residential rental place is still very good. 싱글홈 컨스트럭션이 좀 슬로우 다운 됐다고 지금 중앙일보에 뉴스가 들어와 있는데 며칠 전에 뭐 짐작은 가죠. 지금 여러 가지 상황으로. 그런데 에이프릴에 뉴 컨스트럭션 시작한 게 110만 채로서 1년 전 대비 7.3% 떨어진 거다. 그리고 지금 건자재 값이 19% 올라갔다. 그런데 오버롤 뉴 컨스트럭션, 레지던셜 뉴 컨스트럭션은 한 15% 정도 인크리즈 돼 있다. 왜냐하면 뭐를 많이 짓기 때문에 아파트먼트, 칸도 이런 것들을 많이 짓기 때문에 그 아파트먼트, 칸도 지금 컨스트럭션은 40년 만에 가장 빠른 속도로 지금 증가하고 있다. 로렌스 연 잘 아시죠? 그 NAR의 수석 경제학자, 그 부동산 전국협회에 그 얘기를 했는데 빌더들은 지금 렌트가 더 올라갈 거를 예상을 하고 있다. 왜냐하면 모기지가 높고 모기지 이자율이 높고 그리고 집을 살 수 있는 인벤토리가 낮기 때문에 렌트는 더 올라갈 것이다라고 보고 있다. 이렇게 로렌스 연이 얘기를 했다고 합니다. Okay, next news is now we're talking about 10-year Treasury yield. This is the thing that we need to really carefully look into. Well, as I said, every day you search the Google about 10-year Treasury yield and it gives the number. So if the number goes up, then you can see 30-year fixed mortgage rate goes up, okay? And well, investors' retreat from government bonds in recent days reflects the deepening gloom over the outlook for markets after Friday's surprisingly hot inflation report, 8.6%. I don't know if you follow our news report. Last week we reported March inflation rate and April went down a little bit. Okay, I think March was, if I'm correct, 8.5, and April went down 8.3. But Friday report went up again, 8.6%. So a lot of people kind of surprised, and it created impact to a lot of financial market right now. So this is Wednesday now, and Monday, Tuesday is really financial market disrupted. But today today we'll see after this meeting about 2 p.m. The FOMC, they announce the interest rate, okay, whether they're going to increase 0.5% or 0.75%. We'll see. As in the mini seminar, Brian Jung already mentioned, already financial sectors are preparing increase hike, but we don't know yet, either 0.5 or 0.75. So we'll see this afternoon. And rocked by data showing a broadening increase in consumer prices, bonds slid sharply on Friday. And then Monday and Tuesday are pushing yields on US Treasury to their highest levels in more than a decade. You remember the 10-year Treasury yield, the beginning of this news, went over 3.383. Okay, so it's pushing this 10-year Treasury yield. Now, what's happening? The money, it's out of government bonds. That means government bond price fell. That means yield going up. Again, I'm not an economist, so I cannot explain detail, but that is a known phenomena. So that's why it says U.S. Treasury, which rise, Treasury yield rise when prices fell. Okay, so that's what's happening right now. And the investors are retreating from the government bonds. That's why price fell. That's why yield going up. Okay, and heading into Friday, there was widespread hope on Wall Street that the bond yields have finally reached the peak of this year's climb. You remember last couple of weeks, the 10-year Treasury yield continually moving upward. So a lot of people expected Friday is right now, the Friday, it will be the peak. It reached the peak and then it's going to go down. But surprisingly, Friday, a higher inflation rate announced. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it pushed up the 10-year Treasury yield. And they hoped, okay, so it was enough to tighten the financial conditions that consumer demand and inflation could gradually return to more sustainable levels. That was a hope until Friday. But Friday, inflation statistics came out and everything went wrong. Now, many say that they have little idea how high the Fed will have to raise short-term interest rate to wrest control of prices. Now we are in dilemma. Either Fed really is working, Fed strategy is working or not. And the inflation rate is rising at a rate several times higher than the central bank's 2% annual target. Central bank's target, the Fed's target of inflation rate is 2%. Okay, that's most healthy market, they think. And well, Treasury yields play a critical role. Their rise has helped the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate of over 5%, as you saw, for the first time in more than a decade. This is what's happening here. Year 2019, this the little bit gray line is 30-year yield, and the black line is 2-year yield, both the T-bond, Treasury bond. Okay, often they compare this 2-year yield and 10-year yield. Okay, now look at this. The 10-year yield going up and up and up but 2-year yield also start moving up. Okay, now it's catching up 10-year Treasury yield. So when it reversed, again, I'm not an expert in economy. They see some kind of, if it's a crossover, they see it's recession. Might happen. And again, I'm not an expert, but that's why I asked the mortgage people, what's happening here? 30-year fixed rate is 5.875, and 5-year ARM is over 30-year fixed rate, which is a 6.125. So what's happening, I asked. And the answer was, it's kind of a sort of a recession indicating kind of phenomena. And it's kind of a similar situation that the 10-year Treasury yield and 2-year Treasury yield reversed here. Okay, but that much I can understand, but I cannot explain further, okay? But anyway, this is kind of interesting phenomena right now, so you can take a look at that. 10-year Treasury yield가 지금 3.5%가 넘었다는 얘기죠, 지금. 네, 오늘 월스트리트저널이 다시 서머라이를 좀 해줬는데, 모든 건 지금 프라이데이, 전번 주 프라이데이에 인플레이션 리포트가 나왔는데, everybody is kind of surprised. 좀 컨트롤이 되는 것 같은데, 에이프릴까지, 그죠? 근데 다시 지금 메이 데이터가 나왔는데, 다시 치솟아 올라가서 지금 굉장히 흔들리고 있고요. 지금 그런 요인으로 해서 30년 고정 이자율하고 5-year ARM 이자율이 지금 reversed. 오히려 5년 ARM 이자율이 지금 더 높아졌다. 그러나 아마 템포러리 상황으로 본다. 이렇게 얘기를 좀 들었고요. 그래서 지금 프라이데이까지는 그 인플레이션 레이트 메이 데이터가 발표되기 전까지는 이제 10-year Treasury yield도 꼭지를 쳤다. 그리고 이제 컨트롤돼 가는 것 같다. 만약에 인플레이션 레이트이 에이프릴보다도 떨어져서 뭐 8%에 가까웠다면은 야 이거는 이제 일이 된다. 먹혀 들어간다. 페드가 하는 방법이. 근데 지금 그렇게 안 돼가지고 상당히 지금 좀 머리를 긁고 있다. 뭐 머리를 긁는 정도가 아니겠죠. 지금 페드에서는. 그래서 그런 거를 다 종합했을 때 월요일, 화요일, 수요일 지금 이런 걸 종합했을 때 오늘 그럼 FOMC에서 몇 %로 올릴 거냐? 기준금리죠. 0.5냐, 0.75냐가 문제인데 올리는 거는 당연하고요. 그것이 지금 퀘스천이어서 오후 2시 이후에 발표가 될 것 같다. 한번들 보시고요. The next news is crypto meltdown worsens as Coinbase, Celsius retrench. retrench죠. 좀 떨어지는 거죠. 확 안 좋죠. Okay, the cryptocurrency exchange company Coinbase Global Inc. said it would cut almost a fifth of its staff, about close to 20%, to be exact, is 18%, about 1,100 employees. And the crypto lender Celsius Network LLC hired a new firm to examine restructuring option as problems in the industry deepened. As you know, also today, of course, the stock market is kind of worsened, but the crypto industry also a big problem right now. Coinbase, they went to IPO in April, 2 months ago. One of Signal's growth companies of crypto boom, it is slashing, 1,100 employees. And that's about 18% of the staff, because the company had grown too quickly and potential recession could lead to another crypto winter, the worst case. And Celsius told users on Sunday night that it was pausing all withdrawals, swaps, and transfers between accounts due to extreme market conditions, adding more turbulence to cryptocurrency prices. As of 5 p.m. Tuesday, Bitcoin is the biggest player in this industry. Bitcoin traded at $21,991.89, down 5.4% for the day, and 68% below its all-time high. What was the peak? The top, the Bitcoin price was more than $60,000, right? So right now it's at 21,991, which is a 68% from a drop from the all-time high. So that much crypto industry is unclear. 오케이, 크립토 인더스트리는 지금 상당히 엉망이 됐죠. 그동안 잘 나갔었는데, 물론 6만 불까지 비트코인 예를 들면 6만 불까지 올라가는 상황에서는 돈을 번 사람도 엄청 많겠죠. 사실은 그렇죠. 처음에 비트코인을 산 사람하고 6만 불 때까지 올라갔으니까 중간에 처리한 사람들은 돈을 많이 벌었겠죠. 제가 아는 분도 그래서 그걸 팔아서 집을 사는 다운페이를 한 분도 계시고, 또 최근에 그걸 팔아서 한 15만 불인가 20만 불을 버셔서 recreation vehicle, RV를 사서 지금 미국을 돌고 계신 분도 있고요. 하여튼 재미있는 현상인데, 지금은 다시 비트코인이 68%가 떨어졌다. 그러니까 굉장히 올라가고 떨어지는 게 지금 심한 상태에 있다. 그리고 4월 달에 IPO 나간 코인베이스 같은 경우에 지금 한 20% 엠플로이 줄인다. 그리고 셀시어스는 그 셀시어스가 아마 이제 크립토 랜더라고 그러는데 뭐 크립토 쪽에는 이제 어떻게 돌아가는지 잘 모르겠지만 아무튼 전번 일요일 날 밤에 모든 그 본인들 손님들한테 withdrawal이나 뭐 스왑이나 트랜스퍼 이런 걸 스탑 시켰다고 그래요. 그래서 그것이 또 더 지금 크립토커런시 프라이스를 흔들어 놨다. 그리고 예를 들어서 비트코인이 지금 21,991불에 거래가 됐다. 그것이 지금 all time high 60,000 정도 됐을 때보다 지금 68%가 떨어졌다. 그러니까 모든 거는 타이밍인 것 같아요. 돈을 벌고 못 버는 것도 다 타이밍인 것 같아요. 자, 그래서 비트코인을 시작한 분들은 돈을 많이 벌었지 않겠느냐 하는 생각을 할 수가 있고, 나중에 이제 따라가신 분들은 지금 좀 걱정이 되는 거죠. 그럼 앞으로 얼마 있다가 이걸 픽업할 거냐? 여러 가지 좀 인더스트리를 보셔야 되겠죠. 그런 상태에 있습니다. Okay, that's it for the news. But we have a kind of interesting other tech news. After all, you may invest your money to this kind of technology companies right now. But don't quote me again. I'm not an expert of investment, but it's just common sense. New technology called the carbon removal industry draws large investment. Carbon removal industry, what is that? Well, the last 2 months, $2 billion pledged to emerging technology promising to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. CO2 is a well-known culprit of climate change and warming up the whole globe. So how can we remove this CO2? That's the biggest problem in modern age right now. But this new technology is very interesting. This air, right? Ambient air, there's a lot of CO2. And this, some kind of a box here, the air going in, and there's a filter capturing CO2. It captures all the CO2 here, okay? And then it goes out. Of course, this would be CO2-free air. Now, okay, so capture the CO2 with this filter, then close the door, okay? Close the door and heat this up to 210 Fahrenheit, 210 degree Fahrenheit. That means 100 Celsius. It's like a boiling point. Heat it up. And they apply to water. Okay? But then it becomes mineralized CO2 and pushed down to the earth, the rocks. Okay? The carb can pump it underground into stone for storage for thousands of years. It can stay here for thousands of years. That way, we can reduce the CO2 from this air. By the way, this is Climeworks AG. This is a Swiss company provided this diagram. So, of course, one of the companies is doing this kind of a job. So, a lot of people are like big players in US, so Google and Microsoft. Also, they invested this kind of technology right now. So, a $2 billion project right now. It sounds great technology, and it will solve the Earth problem. Then why not? So you can search this kind of company and you can invest. I guess it's a long-term investment, but 이런 재밌는 테크놀로지가 있는데 하여튼 뭐 소개 한번 드렸고요. 혹시 여러분들이 투자 기회가 되시면 이런 데도 한번 알아보시는 것도 좋겠다. 컴퍼니 이름이 Climeworks AG, 스위스 컴퍼니고요. 지금 그 기사를 보면 그 뭐 구글이라든지 마이크로소프트라든지 이런 회사들이 투자를 지금 많이 약정했다. 지금 그렇게 나와 있습니다. Okay, that's it for news brief today. And if you have any comment or question, you can do so. Otherwise, we will finish today's news brief, and I hope we all see you next week. Thank you.